Okay, ladies and gents, prepare yourself for the most 2023 headline of 2023. Are you ready? From Pink News, police drag autistic girl out of house because she said officer looked like her lesbian grandmother. It's got everything, that. It's got everything. Autistics, lesbians, grandmothers, everything you need from a headline, that. And I'm sure you've already seen this video because it's an excellent illustration of just how bad things have got in Blighty. You know, the KGB never went away, they just all moved to Yorkshire. Right, you've already seen it, haven't you? Because there's an 8-hour time difference where the Bootneck lives, so you've already seen this. However, my take's going to be amusing, unlike most of those talentless hacks that live on this infernal platform these days. Everybody who's actually witty gets banned, right? That's why you have to sit through Owen Jones's incessant gibberish. We'll watch the video. I'm going to cut it down heavily because I don't want to subject you to the endless mewling of the girl's somewhat irritating chavvy mother, but you'll get the gist of it.
A comment in her own house. You've got her own camera. She hasn't said anything to you. Don't matter.
She never got cameras on. She's getting arrested. She's getting arrested.
Why are you doing?
Units coming. Don't worry.
She's autistic.
I don't care.
She's autistic. I know you don't care.
I'm telling you, I've got units coming. She's going to be arrested tonight.
I'll wait till the police officers come and I'll explain what happened.
Just as an aside, look at her balling her fists in rage there. If you go back a couple of seconds, you can see visibly that she's raged, she's enraged, and she's balling her fists. The last time I've seen someone look that aggressive was when my mate Woody projectile vomited all over the windscreen on the inside of a taxi driver's cab, and then he screeched to a halt, threw us out on the A66, and looked like he wanted to murder us, which is a fair one, because he was covered in spew. Police officers are supposed to be trained to deal with this stuff. As a bootneck, I merely did a couple of months training and worked alongside the PSNI during a Northern Ireland tour. And they taught us all the basics of chat-up technique, how to stand at an oblique angle, how to minimise the threat, how to calm a situation down so that nobody kicks off for no reason. This scrawny £105 big-eared boy, right, aggressively instigates the aggression. And she stands there head on like you're not meant to do, like an angry bull. Well, posturing as an angry bull, because that's what girls like that tend to do, isn't it? They tend to behave like a bad stereotype of the most bad-tempered male rugby players. Everyone knows it. The Camel's Hump was a regular watering hole of mine in Middlesbrough when I was a young lad. And everybody knew you didn't want to be in there when the women's rugby team was in. Because when a load of women posturing like men rock up, try and drink 10 pints, and they can't drink. They always go, yeah, we can outdrink men. And then you get into a competition with them, and 4 pints later, they're crying. I love you. I love you. And you're like, yeah, cheers then, love. You lost. Do one. Right, this aggressive, big-eared boy was picking a fight for no reason other than, well, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of the video. I'll put a link in the description. It's basically, well, dragging the autistic girl sobbing out of the cupboard, 7 of them, and then manhandling her into the van. Because she said, you look like my lesbian granny. Right. The mother claims that it was just a comment because she's autistic and she's got no people skills. Maybe she was just being cheeky. But either way, it doesn't warrant an arrest. You're allowed to give your opinion. Speaking from experience, I've called several coppers tossers. Loads of times. Every bloke has. You don't get arrested for it. Or should I say, you didn't used to when the world was sane. Let's get rid of this. Anyway, I'll read you some of Pink News' version of events. And be aware, obviously, this is Pink News, right? It's not Peter Hitchens writing for the Daily Mail. It's Pink News. They're going to try and be sympathetic to the aforementioned police woman in comfortable shoes, aren't they? The 16-year-old was arrested for a homophobic public order offence. Police confirmed to Pink News as footage of the incident sparked widespread outrage on social media. The girl's mother accused the force of being bullies in uniform and explained that while police were visiting their home, the teenager said an officer looked like her nana, who was a lesbian. The officer took it the wrong way and said it was homophobic. My daughter was having panic attacks from being touched by them and they continued to manhandle her. She was screaming, crying and hitting herself in the video while officers attempted to grab her. Kelly S. said, this may be one of the most uncomfortable videos I've had to watch. This is what hate speech legislation does. Prioritises certain groups over others. The poor child. Completely unacceptable from the officers in the video. When the officer was told the daughter had autism, the comment was, "I don't care." Yeah, she doesn't, because she didn't fancy her. Labour MP Kate Osborne said the police have questions to answer. And West Yorkshire Police Assistant Chief Constable Oz Khan said, "We are aware of the video circulating on social media, but it only provides a very limited snapshot of the circumstances of the incident. There are no circumstances where making a quip about a copper looking like your granny warrants an arrest." Oz. What's his real name? I wonder. But I bet it begins with M. And this is the point, we are criminalising normal behaviour. Old Sargon of Akkad said it best. The West Yorkshire Police consider themselves the victims of the public. And how many times have people like me talked about this? The race to the bottom, the death of the meritocracy, a police force that is scared of their own shadows. I've said for years we've basically turned Demolition Man into a documentary, and this story proves it.
Olé! We're police officers. We're not trained to handle this kind of violence.
See, back in the day, that was a joke. When I was in the cinema at age 15 and he said that line, "We're police officers, we can't be expected to handle violence," everybody laughed. Now, the police themselves are saying it. That's what Oz Khan said in his statement. "My officers shouldn't have to deal with abuse. You're a copper." What do you mean you're not expected to deal with abuse? Criminals tend to be a little bit abusive. It's like firemen saying we can't be expected to deal with fires. Or a lollipop lady, I can't be expected to deal with children. Children and traffic. Can't get away with that. I'm a lollipop lady. I should just stand on the side of the road with my thumb up my arse all day. The authorities, the people, the maniacs that run the United Kingdom are pulling our collective pisses. I can't believe how bad it's got. But that is laugh out loud funny. And this woman, standing there, giving it the big I am, Billy Big Spuds, badly posturing, like she's got a mattress strapped to her back and she's going to fight the world. They get away with it because we allow it. She couldn't knock the fluff off a cappuccino, and she can arrest people and work as a functioning police officer because the public let her. If it actually kicked off and two Marlies with machetes were perhaps being a bit rude, do you think this little weasel would be arresting them? Do you? They only go after the law-abiding citizens because the law-abiding citizens will allow themselves to be shackled by people like that. It's typical of the managerialism that now runs the UK. They persecute law-abiding citizens for anything, and they let violent criminals get away with murder because she wouldn't try to arrest a big burly man if he said she looked like his granny, would she? She'd pretend she never heard it and get on with the day. But if they get the chance to lock an old woman up or pick on a teenager, you're getting charged and you're getting fined. The very definition of Tucker's favourite, Anarcho-Tyranny, whereby actual criminals get let off and normal people get persecuted for the most minuscule of deviations from what the state demand. This creature will do you for dropping litter or being a bit rude if you're a 45-year-old law-abiding citizen who's got no criminal record, because she knows you will allow her to wrestle you into the back of a van. But the actual criminals that rape and murder and assault and brutalise people, they're free to do as they please. You know it and I know it. Would she nick two big burly blokes for a quip? I think we all know the answer to that. But that's just what I think. Let me know if you disagree, and you would be like, whoa, 105-pound bird with arms like cheese strings. She'd be able to take down the blokes who lopped Lee Rigby's head off, wouldn't she? Yeah, definitely. Of course she would. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, as always, and I will see you all very soon. And keep your chins up. At least they're always giving us plenty of material. See you later.